Hello and welcome. Welcome to part 2 of using apps on your Android phone to restore photos. In this short tutorial, we're going to take a black and white image with a couple of minor imperfections on it and turn it into a color image and give it a bit of a restore using a couple of apps. So, welcome to Streamtabulous. Welcome back. Now we'll open it up with the first app which we're going to use, which is MintAI, and we're going to give this a little bit of color. So bear with me while I blur the screen. There are certain images on my phone that I don't want to share. I'm opening up MintAI. Okay. Some of these apps go straight into the gallery. Now, with MintAI, we want to go down to the color tool at the bottom here. When I click that, it should open it up to the gallery. So bear with me. Now we want to find where that photo is on the physical phone. So at the bottom it says recent. We can use recent when we have our images which are freshly downloaded. When they're not freshly downloaded, we can go into the bottom of the app and we can actually scroll through our gallery. Bear with me while I find the folder which I created. There we go. Showcase. Okay. So I've found my folder in the gallery with the image. So we're going to open it up and we're going to color it. So we'll just go OK. You'll get ads up with this app. Free to use. I think the newer version has watermarks. I'm running an old version. You'll have ads pop up and it'll colorize your photo. It does a quick job of doing it, and actually he's done a fantastic job in this case. If it's not doing, sometimes it doesn't do the best job, where I use a program called AirBrush to add color, which we'll go into and we'll show that in a minute. So once we're done there, we want to hit the save at the bottom. Make sure it comes up with download successful. Sometimes it'll pop up with an ad and not come up with download successful, and you may have to redo it. So now that's done, we're going to exit this app and go into a different app. Now from here we need to pick which app we actually want to go into. So I'm going to address the imperfections on the image. So I'm going to go into IBS Paint. Now I have a stylus with a little rubber nib on it, which works well because I get hand tremors with my condition that I have. Once we're in IBS Paint, we want to go into My Gallery. And then from My Gallery, it's going to show all the pictures you've added. And in the very bottom corner of the phone on the left, you're going to find a little plus symbol. So we want to do that, and it will bring this up. And then we want to go Import Picture, and then find our picture that we have just created, the color one. For me, it opens up the basic gallery, which is showing the content of my phone for images, recent, SD card, so forth. So I'm going to go into images, and for me, modified usually comes at the top, so I should be able to find the image fairly quickly. Okay, it saved it to a folder called Pictures. So I've opened up the image. Now that's every app may save it to a different folder location on your phone. So sometimes it may be camera, sometimes it might be pictures, sometimes it might be images, sometimes it might be a different subfolder called pictures. So you'll have to look at the photo and you can pretty quickly work out which one is the one that you're looking at to edit and reopen. So we do not want to do that. So we can come in here. And now we're going to work on removing some of this. So what we're going to do is, I'm already on the paintbrush tool. So we'll go back down We'll hold it onto a section of the screen, which just selects the color, so we'll find an area. Now we'll make that, we'll keep that large, but I'm going to move this slider at the bottom here. And that's going to change the opacity of the brush, and we're going to do it light, so it's almost translucent. And then we'll just come over that, and you can see it's translucent, and we'll just do that until we're happy. We'll go a little bit darker, reselect that color there. There we go, and just go over that. Okay. Select a different color. Over that again. I'm building up layers, that way we can keep it as close to that background as possible, but we'll probably end up removing that background anyway. We'll have a look. Okay. Move our image. You can twist the image, make it easy to work with. You can go sideways. I'm used to working it in portrait mode, so I usually do that. Now the method I'm using to stream the phone to the actual PC to do this recording does have delay, and the image quality is very, very compressed because my phone is a 2017. I think it's Android 8, if I remember correctly. It's Android 7 or 8. I can check that later. And some streaming apps crash due to the lack of memory that this phone actually has. So that's why the compression is so bad. Make that a bit smaller. Just like that color. I'm just following the lines of what we can see up the top here, so we can grab that and we can just pull down and brush up and grab that. We're constantly going to change that color because we can see that gradient change as it comes through. And then take it from the bottom here and we'll go that way instead. Just finish off that corner. Now we might try to use the smudge tool. We might see if we can't find an image that fits into a size that fits in. What we'll do is bring that opacity down, and we'll drag through some of that old new color to try to hide some of that damage. We just work the photo a little bit by little bit. We can do that here as well. You can use the smudge tool just to drag out those imperfections. Come up as our photo. Go back to this. Okay. See there? But here we can use different tools to fix this, but might leave on the smudge tool. I'm going to go to color. Might leave some of that and just show another tool that we can use to fix some of that up. It's not as good, but yeah. It's a patch tool in another app that we can actually use to fix up scratches and lines. But I find it's better to actually come through and brush it. Ends up with a cleaner look. So you can use a combination of both sometimes. Come through. So I'm going to work it little by little. And go to that smudge tool. Go large. Go very translucent and just bring some of that color in. And that just blends it a little bit doing it this way. So just come through, give it a bit of a blend. Follow the contours of the face. You want to follow those natural lines that are there. And, this will be important for when we use an image enhancer because we don't want to destroy the features of the face. So following the contours, we leave the light that the scripting tool uses to rebuild the image. Okay. We have the color image there, and we will save that. So we can just save it as a PNG file. Done. Exit that and go to a different app now. So we'll go back to my gallery where the image will be saved. Just the bottom of the phone. I've already exported it. You can re-export it once you're back on your gallery page. You can choose as a JPEG. So you can choose different ones. Now, from there, I'm going to use MintAI as the image enhancer on this one. And, look how that works. So we'll open up MintAI, which won't go into the gallery, it usually doesn't, but it will now. So I'm coming down to Photo Enhance. I'm pressing the little blue dot there, arrow, which is opening up my gallery. Now this time I'm going to let it go from the recent, and the very first image up the top there is the one that I want to open, which is right there. I'm going to hit OK. Usually load up an ad here. My Wi-Fi is currently off on the phone, make it a little bit faster. So I think it's the Wi-Fi that's off. Anyway. And you can see here, like one side, it's showing what the sharpening and the smoothing and the details of that image and what we're actually seeing there for the change. So you can see that. So it's nice and quick. So that's just 2 apps so far, so it's very quick, or bouncing between the 2 apps. So we press download, make sure it comes up download successful. We got that. Now we can exit that and go into a different app. So I'm going to swipe that screen off because it is saved. I'm going into an app called Facetune, which is the 4th app underneath the little plus that you can see there on the screen. So I'm going to Facetune. Now I'm pretty sure that opens straight into the gallery, so bear with me. Okay, it goes into the main screen. We press the little picture up in the top right hand corner, and then we go into our gallery. So we find our picture. Okay. There it is there. It's coming up with a recent. So I'm going to click that image and open it up. Very straightforward. Okay, we can see here, we can come through this app. It's got a lot of features on it. So we can come through and we can auto whiten the teeth. Doesn't really show it that well on the compression. But hopefully you can see that. Okay. So I'll apply that teeth whitening. Will come through now, and we can take a look at the eyes. This is a great tool for changing color of the eyes. So let's say this person's got blue eyes, we can bring blue into the actual eyes. So we'll go from that, and then we can add the blue to the eyes. We end up with that. We can also do the white on the outside of the eyes, so do a bit of overkill so you can see that. And then we'll bring it back down low, and just find an area that you're happy with, and then once you're happy, press the tick for the OK. Now you can actually apply layers to it, so you can go through and go, okay, well their eyes weren't that blue, they had a grey tinge to it, and you can apply a grey to it. Okay. Okay. That's a very subtle change, so you can see the blue, and then we come up to the greyish blue, and you can bring that out, and you can do the translucency just by changing that slide bar. We can get that different to what we actually want it. So before, we can go to the after. That's a delay with the stream there. That's our after. Okay, and then we have that. Now there is quite a few cool tools in here. So we're going to go to the patch tool, and we're going to go to vanish. And we'll come up to this hair where we left that scratch, and we'll show you how this one works. All you do is you're on vanish and you just draw a line over top of that. It's going to take the left and right, and it's just going to basically bring it together and fill in that mark. Okay, that's quick and easy. And you can come through. This is great for like those little specks of dust that you actually get on old images, where it eats into the physical image and does damage to the photo. So you can come through and you can just, every little piece of dust, strands, you do a big line like that if you want, just go through it. Okay. Just clean that image up. Okay. So we won't go through and do the lot. You can do that when you're putting the time and effort in, but for this tutorial, we want it nice and quick. So we're done there, so we'll press the tick. It's much better than what it was. And the hair tool in this is absolutely fantastic. It creates like a, well, you'll see. I use a burn layer in Paint Shop Pro to do the same sort of thing. So what we're going to do is, again, you can do multiple layers. So we'll come through and we'll do the brown. Now it looks horrible, but we can actually see the areas that it's missed. So it's top corner, so we can go apply, and then we can just paint that little area in. Paint in larger because it fans it, and it doesn't give us the option to change that fan on that radius. So we'll just do that. Okay. Now we'll come to the blend, and you can change the amount that you want to come through, but the real cool part is glow, and that acts as like a burn, which really enhances it. So we'll crank that all the way up. Okay. And then I'll show you the before. I'll show you the after, where it highlights the hair. Okay. And we can see those highlights. And then we can apply that one, and then we'll go into it again, and we'll build up a layer. So we'll make this a darker brown sort of color to give it those multiple colors. Okay, so we do a black, and we want glow all the way up, which will give it that shiny, enhanced look to it. Okay. I'll show you the before. Get it coming up there. It's very subtle on the screen. Got that bit of a delay there. Bring that black color up more. It looks very different on my phone to what it does on the screen. You're not seeing the full range to it. So we come over here, and you can see it's a lot sharper. It's a lot crisp. Camera's not the best quality either, but yeah. Okay. So we'll apply that. That's a beautiful color. Okay. And that's made the enhancement for the hair. Clothing. This will enhance the clothing. We can come through, and you can see it's like kill there, but that's okay. It's kind of graded off a bit. So, through to details, and that details, you can bring it out, or you can bring it up. So we'll bring it just slight. So the before, and then we'll see the after. We'll come over to the saturation, and we're going to make that top white. So we'll bring out the color. So just drop it all the way down. Okay. We'll show the before. It comes up on the screen. Okay, there we go. There's the two differences. There's a big delay on the screen at the moment, so I'll have to forgive that. I'm going to go ahead and just continue editing this photo a little bit. Add some extra white to it. Done. You can do colors with the clothing tool. I'll have to show that another time, where we come through and we can actually select our own custom colors. So you can come through and you can apply different types of clothing. So I use Google Images to take pictures of the fabric and that, and then what I'll do is I'll use the at the bottom here, there's a custom. I'll use the custom, and it will see whatever the first image is that we have recently done. So if you screenshot a say something like denim in Google, and then you crop it so you're just seeing the fabric, and then you use the custom in this to open that up, and then you can enhance it by doing that. You just pinch, and it enhances that, enlarges that image onto the screen, and then you can put whatever color fabric you want and restore the photo that way, and you can brush it in as well. So I've actually done that to skin textures on the face. I've used the clothing tool, I've used skin texture, and then I've come through and I've actually fixed skin on faces as well. So it's actually a handy tool that you can use not just for clothes, but in multiple ways. So we're going to save this one. Okay. And we shall exit this. Come into here. I'm going to open up the program Lumii, which is the little multicolored butterfly in the corner there. And I don't think that goes to the gallery. I'll just blur it just in case. Oh, it does go straight into the gallery. So we're straight into the gallery. I'm going to choose the photo. There it is there. It's the one that we just saved. So it's the recent. It's the one that's at the top. And this program is just the best background remover. So we're going to remove the background from this image. Okay, it's a one click. It usually nails it straight away. We may have a little bit of problems because of the way I've done the clothing. So we're going to hit replace background. It's going to go through and it's automatically going to do it for us. Now we lost a part of the arm, but that's probably a good thing because I can show you how to put it back in now. So we can go to the brush and we can select our size. Instead of erase, we want the brush. We're just going to paint that arm very carefully back in. Okay. Now here's the really fun part. You've got the default ones in there, but if you come to the little double picture there, the little white boxes, that's going to open up the gallery. Now I've created a folder called backgrounds, and in that background I have an entire collection of backgrounds that I've actually saved, and we can come through and we can select them and see which one looks great with this image. So I mean, we've got all sorts of ones we can choose. You could go for an outdoor scene. Doesn't really suit this image. It looks like this image has been done inside, and looks like it was originally done professionally by the back wall, or maybe the person taking it used a house wall which had that color tone to it. But I find the color tones of the image, you can see those whites of the top and then the skin tones and the way the highlights are. I find it's usually best to try to find an image which is similar for the background. So we sort of match that and give it a fresh. Now we can pinch that, we can zoom it in, and we can get it to where we want. So, and that's the background replace. So very, very quickly, very, very easily. Looks much better than it did before. Come up here and we'll save our image, and that's that done. Exit. That program to bottom where it runs ads as well. Some programs just turn your Wi-Fi off or put it on flight mode, and you can get around that sort of thing. Now I'm going to use PicSay here for a moment. PicSay opens up. Okay, that's PicSay Pro, and get an image which will open up my gallery. And we're going to find where that one's saved. Now that one's saved to a folder called Lumii. I love it when it uses the name of the actual program. So it's going to come up with options for compression of the image. We're not going to compress the image. We're going to leave it as maximum because that's what we want. And for this one, we're going to go into effects. Come down, and there is a vintage border, which will just blacken out the sides. And that sort of ties it all together so it doesn't look like it's been touched, because it adds those multiple layers to the image. So you've got the vintage, which is the primary top layer, and then you've got the person, which is the subject, which is the second layer, and then you've got the background, which is the third layer. And when you put them all together like that, it makes it look like that photo was never touched, where with it off, you can see the sharp lines and you can say, okay, that background's been replaced, that photo's been touched. And when you add something like this, it just sort of blends those layers together and adds that more professional look to it, and it matches that vintage style. So we can just save that. So we export, I should show that. Export at the bottom, we save to the gallery, and we'll save it to the same folder, so Lumii. So I know where that is in my gallery now. We'll open up the gallery. I'll come down and we can see a nice quickly done. Okay, that's our image. So nicely quickly done using a couple of apps, just hopping through them using the features on. These are all features that I'd usually do the same sort of way in Paint Shop Pro. The color app really saves a lot of time. You don't have to sit there and like do a skin color and bring it in and then do the blemishes. So, and that's that. And we can take it further than that as well. Like we can come through and have a look at these eyelashes. They're not very clean. You know, you can sort of see that they've sort of bled onto the skin, so they don't look the best. They don't look sharp. So we can come through and we can use the program. Nope, use the program AirBrush. So we come through. I want AirBrush, the little orange one there. So we're going to open that up. It goes to the gallery, so I'm just going to close that off for a tick. Okay. So we have our library at the bottom. So we want to come through and find Lumii. There we go. Open that image up. Okay, now we've opened our image up. It does do a weird double take background thing. We can come through and we can change the skin tone if we want. So we can come through and we can hit auto and it will actually auto mask that skin tone. And we can change it. I've created a purple. Skin's not perfect in color. So you have a lot of greens and different tones in there. I find the purple tone just adds that little bit of, you know, highlights to the skin. So it creates a mask. I'll whack that on there. It's very subtle. Now the one I like is the makeup tool. Okay, you can come through and you can do the lip colors. So we can change that. It should mask over it. Okay, so there's a bright lipstick that we can throw on top. We're going to leave this as the original, so I'm going to say no to that. We'll go back to makeup. We're going to come to the contours. Contours are fantastic. They really highlight the face. So we can come through and we can go sculptured, young. So we can just add those highlights and we can bring them up. Okay. Get this one. Does the cheekbones. Okay. Bring that up a bit. Now the beauty is we can do sculptured. So we'll apply that and we'll come back in again. And then we'll go, okay, let's make that nose jump out a little bit more, and we'll add that to it. And we'll come back in again, and you just build up the different contours that you want. So you can come through and do deep. We can apply how much we want of that. Okay. So it just does the cheeks. You can do the eyebrows. We're going to skip that. We'll come to the eyelashes. So we can come through and we can do those eyelashes. Okay. Apply that. You've got eyeliners that you can come through and do as well. I don't find the hairbrushes the best in this one. So yeah. So you can come through and you can apply just a little subtle eyeliner, which just brings those eyes out a bit more. You've got eyeshadows. You've got an eye color one in here as well, which is good for really damaged eyes. But yeah, I do prefer Facetune 2 for that. And there you go. It's very subtly done. We'll save that. Okay. I'm going to go through and move those last two images to the same gallery. Now that one saves to a the camera folder. So in there. Okay. And I wanted that Lumii one as well, so I can just show these two images side by side. So I'll move you into showcase. Okay. Come through into showcase. So which image is which? Okay. Okay. Now to show it more clearly, this is the before adding the contours and the eyebrows and the eyeliner. Okay, so that's before. Come over and we see the after. So you can see straight away the nose is more defined. It gives it a more 3D look. And we come in and then you can see those details of the eyelashes added there to what it was before. Okay. So it's very subtle, and you can see that skin tone change as well. So it's very subtle, but that's what you want. You want subtle, and it makes the world of difference because it adds those deep shadows. So it just makes it really easy. And that's pretty much it. That's our first tutorial, starting off with a basic photo, which wasn't too hard to restore. And that's where you want to begin at. You want to begin with something simplistic, and then you can work your way up to harder ones. And that's what we're going to do with these part ones and part two. We're going to work with a couple of basic photos to begin with, and then we'll get a little bit harder as we go. And then we'll move into the ones where an eye is damaged or someone's closed their eyes, and we'll try to find ways of opening it. And we'll move through and we'll use different apps. I went through with part one. If you don't know the apps, go back and look at part one. I'll update that and put a list of the apps that I'm actually using and what versions I'm actually using, and you can take a look at those. And yeah, and from there we'll move on to the next parts of the video, and we'll slowly introduce you to more advanced techniques. And every photo that we do, some things work, some things won't work, and we'll see that firsthand, because I'm not going to edit these. They're just going to be done as I'll be doing it, so you'll actually see little mistakes that are made, or something like MintAI's, sharpening tool where it does the enhancement of the face may not work, and we'll go, okay, we'll scrap that one, we'll use that image again, we'll run it through REMI or AI enhancement, and we'll just go through different images and show the multiple different techniques, how to get around things and how to get them to work. That way you don't have to use a computer with PaintShop Pro or Photoshop or anything like that. So it will give you the tools that you, on your mobile phone, where you can fix up images yourself. And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, get the bell on. Leave a comment below if there's anything that confuses you or anything you need me to put into a video to put a little bit more time on. And yeah, I can address those and work on those in other videos. So yeah, like, subscribe, get the bell on, and I will see you in the next video.